It's something that affects our life on a daily basis. You understand? And there are people out there that are currently sitting and planning the next labor grievance, dispute, strike, or even negotiations. And it's taking place. It's not something that is far from reality. All right. It's in the employment process, and it's part of our daily activities that are taking place. I mean, you talk about a strike. I'm sure some of you embark on strike actions, or even, well, obviously, an individual cannot embark on a strike action because it's a collective action. You understand? So in that case, I want you to go through every aspect in the book. You look at the types of strikes. You've got economic strikes. You've got recognition strikes. You understand? We have seen the nurses have come out to talk about the role that they are actually playing during the COVID 2019, and the lives that they are losing during working time, and they are not being recognized. Now you've got also strategic strike, you've got rotating strike, you've got sit-in strikes, you've got wildcat strike. You need to be able, when you select a specific strike, go and describe it. Don't only depend on the book, try to get more information from other sources to describe that specific strike. And then you look at the tactics, they are there on page 168, and it's part of what is required here. So you don't have to go too far. You can also get some of these things in the book. All right. Procedures for a protected strike. What do you have to do for you to make sure that your strike action is being it's protected? You have to go through those particular procedures. What are the limitations of strikes? Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing to embark on a strike? What does it do to the economy? You know, those are the aspects that you can actually bring and play around with them, in your specific assignment. What do you do if you want to dismiss strikers as an employer? Are you do you, are you allowed to dismiss? And if so, what type of employees can you dismiss when they are honest in a strike? Obviously, it's going to be very difficult if they are on a protected strike and they are not really infringing on any rules of the organization. But given certain regulations or rules, you may be able to dismiss them. They will obviously take you on when you do that. So you must make sure that you have got the right reasons to do so. Picketing laws. What does work to rule mean as well? The role of the police during a strike action. Does the police have a role to play? Does it have? Do they have a role to play? Their role is to maintain peace and security. Their role is to make sure that the law is abided with. But obviously, police cannot be involved in the negotiation process of a dispute that is between the employer and the employees. They cannot settle the dispute, or maybe the whole strike problems. They cannot. They will just be on a side, to give support, so that property is not damaged. Something that we know that in the country it happens very often. What can the employer do when employees are on a strike? Lockdown. You can lock them down. As much as the employees or the trade union has got the right to embark on a strike, the employer has got a recourse in return to lock them down when they are out there on a strike. What do they do? Physically, the employer will actually lock the premises of the organization out. They lock them out. You understand? They do not allow them to come through. The law is quite clear on even the picketing rules. There are picketing rules that you can only picket within specific parameters from the organization itself. People, I want you to look at also the different activities on page 175. You've got activity and possibility of consequences of these particular strikes. They are all given there on page 175. And that brings you to the end of this particular chapter. If you look at page 176, you've got questions, and you've got also a specific, yes, you've got only questions there. So if there's no questions, guys, I think we are now, Nkolisi, at minute 45 minutes and a few seconds. Is there anything that you guys would want us to talk about? Anyone? Doesn't seem we've got too many people here, but anyone that would want to talk about? I would like to see some of the faces. If you raise your hand, if you say something, just switch on your video. I would like to see you guys. Yes? Rachel, you've been very quiet. Who raised their hand?
It's me, sir.
Yes.
Okay, I just wanted to find out, when does a strike now surpass CCMA to labor court? What would have happened for a dispute to go to that level?
Look, the labor court is a different aspect of labor dispute resolution process. You have to apply to go to the labor court. And for you to apply to the labor court, you've got much more complex. It's a much more complex environment where it is not open for every dispute that has been taken to the labor court. The judges that are sitting there will make a decision as to whether this merit a labor court, it's a labor court matter or not. Very few issues will go to the labor court. And in this case, we've got a problem with issues going to the labor court because we don't have much capacity in the country to deal with all matters that are referred to the labor court. So clearly, these particular disputes that we see taking place in the country, they are of a specific level. I'm talking about that the ones that are going to on a strike. They are at a specific level in the organization. The labor court will probably take high-profile cases and deal with them because it's quite expensive. It becomes more expensive to take a matter to the labor court. Remember, at CCMA level, even lawyers are not necessarily allowed from both at the employer and the employee side. It's a matter that is highly protective of employees because they cannot afford expensive lawyers like the employers would. But going to the labor court, there are very selected cases that goes to the labor court in Nkolisi. I think the fact that I'm making is that it's not a cheap area to go into. It can have cost implications as well.
Okay, sir, thanks.
Yeah. Anyone else, guys?
Can I ask question? I have a question.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, I want to know if this assignment is for a group or it's individual, because I saw in the WhatsApp group someone said that you need to choose if you can do it in a group.
Yeah. Preferably, guys, we want you to work in groups. Remember last semester, and who was asking the question? Was it Melissa? Is it Bulunga? Or was it no? Ray. Your mic is on. Were you asking a question, my brother?
Yeah, I was asking a question. I want to know this: is that fair for employees to strike while in the same time businesses are also going down?
Okay, Ray, you've got to do something with your. You're not very audible. And can you repeat it again?
Okay, my question is this one: is that fair for employees to strike while businesses are also going down or are failing?
Okay, I hear that you're asking whether it is fair for employees to embark on a strike when businesses are suffering, no?
Yeah. That's the question.
Yeah, let me say to you the issue of fairness. You can actually Google it. You can even check. The issue of being fair is something else. Remember, employees use their rights, their legitimate rights that they have, to exert pressure to employers or even to employers. So if the question is, are you doing it in a fair way or not? Sometimes employees don't even care whether it's fair, but at the end of the day, it could be even grudges that has been standing before the business was going wrong. You understand? Things were going wrong in the business. So it could be settling scores, but you would remember there has been some strikes, such as the SAA strikes that were looming even before the lockdown or even the pandemic from last year already. But then came COVID, and those particular strikes, where they were so radical that we are going on a strike, they actually tried to go back and reimagine how can we actually put more pressure on employers, because you've got also companies that are closing down, and that's a real thing. When the company closes down, you also need to have a strategy on how can we go back to our demands, because this is going to hurt even our jobs for that matter. But in terms of fairness, as an academic, I cannot tell whether this is fair or unfair. Ray, are you with me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Listen,
Oh,
I don't know if this thing is gonna cut us, but the meeting was for an hour, so I can see we are left with 3 seconds there.
okay.
No, it's carrying on. It's carrying on. I
Okay.
thought it was gonna cut us. Okay.
Okay. Let me just make a quick summary of the lesson, because I don't think there's many hands that are up. We will continue. I'm still with you before the end of the month, to engage with some of you, and then Kolisi, we can organize another session. But I'm still going to talk with my with my colleague, which is Ekojumi. Mr. Ekojumi will actually be taking over this particular class or all the other classes that I have been giving over the years. Because it's not nice to actually say it now, but I've actually gotten to a point where I have actually submitted a resignation in the beginning of this month, which means that I'm serving a notice during this time of September. So I might be leaving. I will be leaving the institution by the end of this month. All right. So it means open to advices if there are any people who would want to. But at this stage, I just want to make it clear that this is my last month with the university. I'll be sitting at home, unemployed. All right. So in that case, Mkolisi, I think Ray, your mic is still on. All right. Switched off. Stunned. Let me thank everybody. Let me thank Mkolisi for facilitating this process. We will obviously be carrying on to facilitate this type of sessions before the end of the month. I would like to really say thank you for logging on such a short notice. Kolisi?
It's sad that you're leaving. Wow. We just met you this year and you're already leaving. We hope we didn't bring bad luck. But yeah, no, sir, you are wonderful. I don't know. I don't have words, but you've made your decision. I don't know what pushed you to actually end up resigning. But yeah, we wish you all the best as a class. It's really sad, sir. I don't wanna lie.
Yeah.
I don't wanna lie.
No, it's not an.
Maybe other colleagues can jump in.
Yeah. Let's see if there's anyone. Nobody. But it wasn't an easy decision, obviously, to come by. Some things you have to. It could be due through certain issues, that cannot be resolved. So I had to take it up with myself. I'm currently, obviously, just going to do some monitor some research, but you've got a very capable lecturer that will be taking over this subject, which is Mr. Ekojume. He's been given this particular subject moving forward. And I think even the submission, I've made it quite clear. I did not really put my email address because it will be going to the wrong email address. He will obviously be submitting the email address that needs to be forwarded to in due course. I will give you basically, because I'll still be with you if it's needed before the end of this month. But I can actually be able to give summaries because there's a beautiful chapter on International Labour Organization that I would want to have another Teams meeting, Kolisi, just to talk about it, just to give my own views with regards to that particular chapter. Are you with me? Is anyone else? Nobody? Melissa? Kendi? Amukelani? Ntabiseng? You're all quiet. Ria? Janet? Hey, Teams, Mkolis, what's happening? Everybody's just muted.
They are here, sir. Maybe they are afraid to talk, but I can see Ria wants to talk.
Yes, Ria.
Yes. Can I also? I also just want to add in on you leaving, and I think during first semester, when you actually shared your story on how you actually became where you are currently, it was kind of like a motivation, and I think personally, it is something that we actually taking. I was actually telling somebody that, you know what, anything is possible. When you actually shared that you were once working at Checkers, and I will never ever forget that story.
Yeah.
It's something that I will always carry to say, you can be anything that you want to be in life. So it was good working with you, though, with the pandemic, it was very interesting and challenging with what happened, school closing quickly, but I must say that there's one thing for sure that you can know, it's that you definitely had an impact. For me, I actually had to say that, you know what, I can make it. So what a testimony for you to actually grow from just nothing to where you are. So yeah, I actually take my hat off and say all the best. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yeah, it is true. It is true. You can actually make it. But I would say the most important aspect that I can actually say to you guys is that you have started at the right place by coming to the university to empower yourself, because I was hungry for knowledge, and that's it. And I managed to actually get to the highest level of academic achievement, which is to get my PhD. Once again, Nkolisi and everyone that is on here, remember, the sky is the limit. You can still juggle around trying to be successful in life and not forgetting that you can also improve your skills and yourself, and also don't forget to humble yourself. I think the reason why I've been lecturing for over 26 years, or for 26 years this year, is that it kept me grounded. It kept me on the ground to make sure that I impact on a lot of people that are going out there in the labor force. I've sharpened a lot of people's minds, and it really gives me that pride to see how well people are doing, and I've touched their lives. They have made it. And hopefully one day I'll get an opportunity to come and talk more about life experiences, because I do have a lot to share to particularly people that will be starting to move into the labor sphere. There's a lot of mistakes that people are making. I would want to share, Nkolisi, with people, with young people, as to what to avoid and when they move forward. and what to do, what to focus on mostly, instead of just wasting time with the wrong things. But in any case, due to time factor, I think we have reached our 1 hour. Nkolisi, can we say thank you so much? We will make another notice once again.
Right, thank you so much, sir. And this was wonderful. And to the people that logged in as well, thank you for your time. And yes, guys, at least the ground rules were obeyed. People switched off their mics, switched off their video. We actually gave you the platform set.
Yeah.
So at least going to the next meeting, we know what we should do.
Exactly.
And I will actually invite them in time. I will upload the material in time. And yes, sir, we are grateful. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And Thabiseng, are you on?
Sir, it's very sad that you are leaving us, but I wanted to ask about the books.
Yeah.
When can we collect them?
The books can be collected at any time, but please coordinate that with me or even Mkolisi himself. Just let me know how many people would want books, so that we know that we've got everything in place. You know, the books are there. I'll give people new books to have. I don't know how many, but let's facilitate that through our team leaders, you know, as to how many people will need books, so that we know that we've got enough stock for them. Yeah, I think Thabiseng, now you get the reason why I'm actually offering to sponsor these particular books, because I'm leaving you guys, and then I want to make sure that we're leaving you with something that will empower you for life, eh?
I thank you very much, sir. I do understand.
Yeah. All right.
Or for people that want the book, I think I should give out my number already. It's 081 363 7819. 081 363 7819.
Beautiful.
I will help you out.
All right. Thank you, guys. Let's call it quits. It's an evening, great weekend, and start working. Thank you very much. Cheers, Mkolisi. Oi.